Hey everyone, Dan here. We are about 20 minutes before close on Thursday, March 18th, and wanted to take a look at some dip buying opportunities after the afternoon sell-off that we've had here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also in these videos that I cover multiple tickers on, I'm going to put a timestamp for each ticker as the first pinned comment below. So if you're looking for a particular stock, you can look there in the future for a direct timestamp to it. So let's get into it. So the first one on my list here is Space, SPCE. I've had this green buy zone for a while. I actually bought while it was in here yesterday, and we had a nice pump up and now have fallen down. So what I'm going to be looking for, and you're going to see me throw this into a bunch of the charts that we look at today, but I'm going to keep this buy zone here. I think that if we get into here on Space, there's a great opportunity to buy this dip. What I had been saying was that dip corresponds to coming down to fill this gap, which it already has done. So we'll see, if because of the broader sell-off, this gets back into this zone, but I'm expecting it to hold this 31.34. So that's basically what I'm counting on. But we'll see what it does if it gets there. The thing that the sell-off today is going to leave exposed in a bunch of these stocks that we might not see quite yet. They may play out more tomorrow and we can identify them then. But we're going to see a bunch of gaps show up. So, if you do buy this dip, I'd be looking for it to come back up and fill this gap, which would put you at 34.10, and then sort of see what it's going to do there. If it's going to continue to draw back and sell off, or if it'll have sort of enough price strength and momentum to keep kicking it upward. There's Space, and Mara was looking great for about half the day and has now started looking like crap for half the day. But the nice thing about this is a couple of things. One, in this pump up earlier, we had enough price strength to not like triple, quadruple top out here. So we pushed past that zone. So that is less of a concern to me at this point. So that's good. The other thing to note is now that it has had this retracement, it has successfully filled this gap. So we don't need to worry about that either. Also, this 41.08 support zone that we had drawn in, several days or weeks ago, whenever we first made this chart, that has held up very strongly through last night and then into today. So even with this sell-off, you see it's now pushing off of that zone, and it's almost to the mark. It's pretty darn close there. If we get a push off here, then I feel really good about this. It was unfortunate that we didn't. It's always unfortunate that everything doesn't rise 1,000% in a day. So any sell-off is a little bit like, oh, I was enjoying that ride up, but that's why you keep some cash on the side and hopefully have some opportunity to buy some dips when they present themselves. But, this to me may be the dip because there's so much buying pressure here that's represented by all of this activity. And looking back, you'll see it had nice support here. It held that support like all the way back here. So it has a long history of support here. I mean, long in terms of trading, several days. And so, I would feel good about that. If not, we look for 39.91. I would really want it to hold that because it's a painful drop down to 36. It's like a 10% drop or so. And there's not a ton of support area in between there. Maybe a bit here at like 37.80. We'll see. We'll see. It's having a nice push at the moment. CCIV has had quite the sell-off today. I sent out a tweet today. I had very little time today, but I sent this tweet out and basically said, CCIV is flagging out here coming up. At that time, I was hoping that it would just continue to bounce and then bounce itself out and jump up. But it actually has stayed underneath that flag with the sell-off in the market. But, the first thing I'd be looking for, it has fallen to this zone, which we've had charted for again, several weeks, 2690. So hopefully we see a bounce off of this because it has really great previous support here, and it hasn't tested it in a while. So this may just, be part of that, and that's okay. So what I'd be looking for is a jump off of there. Otherwise, this 2523 down to 2480, those are pretty close support zones, and it represents just a ton of price activity and what I would conclude to be buying pressure at those price points. So you're going to see a lot of buyers jump in at that price if it gets down to it, I think. And so I would, at a bare minimum, expect a big bounce off of there if we get to it. But I'm hoping that this level right here holds for the near term. SOS was also sort of like feeling like Mara this morning, where we were like, wee! And then we've sort of come full circle here. But what I had said earlier when it was pumping up was, be careful this zone, because there's so much topping out here previously that has led to some big drops. And so the good sign here, in my opinion, is it blew through that zone and established above it. So now it's holding this 852 mark basically on the high end, with the next zone basically being 920 if it can get back up there. And I would look for it to catch in the current zone where it is right now, 755, which again we had previously charted. It's just nice to see these charts hold up because it just gives a lot of confidence in them. So I'd look for it to hold one of these two levels here. Would be sort of like my dip buy opportunity, because it's a big fall down into here. So I would hope to not have to go through that, but we'll see. There might be a little bit of support that has developed here now. So like just above 7 might have a lot of buying pressure. But we'll see. It's doing pretty well off of this one for now. NNDM I had so much hope for this one earlier in the day. The good thing here is it has exposed this gap, which will need to be filled, and so we can look for that in the near future, I would expect. It did have this previous gap that it could be coming down to complete filling that, which would basically put it at this 1010 target again. It just continues to be sad to me that we can't get NNDM to that 1249 level, which I think that is the most critical level that it needs to build as support, because I think that there's going to be a huge springboard off of that level. So still looking for that, but it tried to hold this 1068 in the pre-market, and then after open, and it just couldn't with the selling pressure in the overall market. So 1010, let's not fall below 10 again. AONE was previously in this channel. It's fallen out and it's sort of like doing the, hey, I left the channel, where am I going to go thing. It's still holding this support zone that we had drawn in. So I'm not terribly concerned about it. 1194 is the level that is drawn in there. Back when it was holding this channel, my hope, and I didn't have a position in it then, was that it was going to get down to this green box to ultimately hold this 1069, and that would be like my super primo buy zone. But I don't know that it's going to get there. It has so many support levels in between, but if it breaks through 1134, then it does have quite a bit of room to fall. So we'll see. I took a position in this yesterday, I think somewhere around this area. I can't 100% recall, but so there's some opportunity to average down as it starts to hold any of these support levels and build some price strength off of it. And lastly, Workhorse has fallen out of its channel, and it was sort of like a nice steady channel. It wasn't one of these crazy, like, that's almost vertical kind of channels. So it looked like it was going to potentially be like a pretty solid channel to hold. Unfortunately, with all the pressure here, it's come off of it. And this is the lowest price area that I have charted, this 1540. Let's kind of see how it holds there. And then I can always follow up with a new chart if it seems to be falling quite a bit below. It may just come down and then have that as a resistance, 1540 resistance for a while, and then come back up and build support off of it again. But if it comes down and it's not really trying to come back up and finding 1540 resistance, then I'll chart some of these lower zones to see where it might be going. Yeah, look at this. Look at these really hopeful targets that we have up here for the future. So we'll see how it goes. But I hope you held it together today. If you aren't quite sure how to handle these market sell-offs, I'll put a link to a video above that talks about stocks that go up when the market is going down, so you can stay profitable day to day and not just sort of like continue to take the L when things turn against you. So if that's your trading style, then that should help. If not, I certainly understand. So thanks so much for watching. Please leave comments below, questions or ideas that you have. Those things help everyone. And also any tickers that you'd like me to cover, and I'll take a look. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video.